So, my first fanime, Quest of Bluefire, ran for 2 seasons from 2016 to 2018. Although I canceled it in 2018 midway through Season 2, there were plans for a 3rd season that never got made, which is what I'm going to be talking to you about today. Whereas Season 1 was about establishing the world, Season 2 was about better production values and a more serious attempt at storytelling, Season 3 would have taken us to a completely new area of Flametopia, with the characters being a bit more grown up at this point. Not nearly as much as how they're depicted in Quest of Bluefire Shippuden, but about a year or two older than in the previous seasons. The 3rd season would have at least started in a different area of Flametopia, a more tropical island-esque area called Diamond Island, because it's literally shaped like a diamond, and then they would have traveled to more outlandish parts of Flametopia than what we've seen before. I guess it sort of would have been like the One Piece time skip, in a sense, which, of course, was a huge influence on my work and still is to this day. The Flame Fighters this time around would have gotten redesigns and new outfits to resemble this new frontier of Flametopia that they're exploring, and also because I got kind of tired of the old designs, I wanted to make something that would, I guess, appeal more to the viewers. While I didn't end up using these designs due to the series getting cancelled, I did use these designs as inspiration for their Eventia counterparts a little bit. So here's the Season 3 Bluefire design, which I think it had a bit too much going on. I kept the green from the first outfit, but because of how saturated it is, you could barely see, well, actually, you can't see it at all, the Light Up Isles Eagle logo on the chest, because of that was also saturated to hell, too. Although I did switch out the orange boots with sneakers that were meant to be steel-toed, so whenever he kicked an enemy, it would do more damage. This was the first version of Bluefire to have the scarf that Billy has. When I was designing the Eventia, then known as Light Fighters, or even earlier than that, Fire Soul Power cast, I took the scarf and the gloves from this outfit, although on Billy, then known as Spice at the time, I had made the scarf a solid blue color. For Greenfire's redesign, I had techie streetwear on the line for him. He also would have yet again gotten a new weapon at this point. In the first season, he had a spray paint can that got upgraded and turned into like some kind of flamethrower, and then that was kind of like a paintball gun, for really lack of a better way to describe it. In Season 2, he just had a regular pistol that he was quite skilled with. In this 3rd season, he would have gotten some kind of futuristic energy gun with a power source on his back. He also had a Dragon Ball Z Saiyan-esque scouter thingy. Although in this case, he didn't use it to measure an enemy's power level, he just used it to help him aim his shots. Although, honestly, looking back, it probably could have been used to measure an enemy's power level. Now I just need a scene of him crushing it like he's Vegeta.
It's over 9,000!
Although Greenfire didn't end up making it to Eventia in this form, there was a human version of him designed that was basically just the same outfit, but a human with green hair and green eyes. The counterpart Greenfire ended up getting in Eventia, which is Sayaka, the first case where their counterpart is actually the opposite gender, pretty much only has the color and tech nerd part in common. Now, Pinkfire's redesign, that was a whole different design. Going away with like the oriental robes of the first one, I went for more of a Lolita look that was basically Stalking Anarchy's outfit. In universe, the reason why she changed so drastically was it was more aligned with what she wanted to wear, I guess. I don't really remember since it's been almost 10 years at this point, and some of the notes that I had were lost to time. Now, this definitely served as the base for where Hanako's design came from. When I was concepting the human versions, since it was a new incarnation that didn't have anything to do with the previous one, I could just have her start with a similar outfit. Just change the colors so there was more of a pink theme, as well as giving her pink hair and polished it up. Purple Fire was also planned to get a redesign, however I never actually drew one, but it would have been, I guess, similar to the Soul Reapers or Shinigami from Bleach, I feel. Basically what his Shippuden version is. He would have ditched the hat, although he still owned it, he just kept it on display at home. Ace did not take any cues from this new Purple Fire whatsoever. I just went for a whole different design on him as well. We also would have gotten a 5th member join the team at this point. His color was yellow, He was very creatively named Yellowfire, and he would have had lightning powers. No concept art was ever made for this one either, but I think he would have had a similar vibe to Super Saiyans. For story things, despite it taking place after a whole bunch of crazy stuff I had planned for Season 2, that was a bit darker and more JRPG-like in tone, Season 3 would have brought it back to the lightheartedness of Season 1. One episode plot had them searching around for magic crystals on the Diamond Island. Most had the old-school Monster of the Week type villains that were mostly present in Season 1, instead of the more complex ones that would take multiple episodes to beat, although I did have some of those planned as well. If I can recall correctly, I think I had maybe 3 or 4 episodes written. The first one would have been them landing on the Diamond Island and meeting its ruler. I was very close to going through with making this, and around March 2018, after I'd released Bluefire Episode 21, that's when I made the go or no-go call for Bluefire Season 3. I already had been coming up with a reboot around that point, and quite frankly, I was just getting tired of OG Bluefire then. I was running it for like 2 years straight, so of course I'd get burned out, no pun intended. The viewer numbers had fallen quite a lot, there wasn't as much engagement from my subscribers. I decided, you know, Bluefire in its original form, this series has had its run, I think it can rest. Instead of continuing with what I have now, why don't I take a little break for a bit, reimagine it, and make it much bigger than what I've ever had before. And then after a break and a year of development afterward, Eventia was born. Even though now I'm revisiting Quest of Bluefire and giving it a proper finale with the Quest of Bluefire Shippuden, while I will be using some elements that were planned for this scrapped 3rd season, a majority of the stuff will not be used in Shippuden since I've since come up with better ideas to use. In fact, when I already decided that I wouldn't be doing a 3rd season of Bluefire, I wrote a script for a series finale that would have taken place during Season 2 instead. Because of me getting tired of Quest of Bluefire at that point, that Season 2 finale didn't make it either. I won't be using any elements from that one either, so yeah. But those were some of the ideas I had for Quest of Bluefire's cancelled 3rd season and how I repurposed some of them for Eventia. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.